Hi everyone, very good evening and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma and this is our session on critical reasoning. I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to everyone. I look like a squint for some reason today. It's the reflection of the light, okay? Uh, Good evening, everyone. If you could quickly confirm that I'm clearly audible and visible, we shall commence with the session. We're going to be talking about people who are targeting 2024 and what are the fundamentals of critical reasoning. What are the suggestions that I have if you wish to attempt critical reasoning questions correctly? So I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to everyone. Okay, so what are we going to be doing in the session today? The name of the session says Decode the Fundamentals of Critical Reasoning. What is the agenda? Let's have a look at that very quickly. Here is my next slide. So basically what we're going to be doing is, here it is. We're going to be talking about what exactly is critical reasoning. So for all those kids who are targeting a 2024 CLAT that's going to happen in next year's December, uh, hi, Trasik. How did your exam go, my child? Anshu, yes, thank you for clarifying. Long time no see. I hope your examination went well. FYI, everyone who sat for CLAT 2023, the final answer key for CLAT is out, and they have withdrawn one question from the quant section. That is something that you guys would like to know. So they've withdrawn a question from the quant section. Now, back to everyone who is targeting a 2024. Critical reasoning is one section that appears every year, and this year's critical reasoning was easy. So, what are the basic things that are expected out of you to understand what is critical reasoning? Why is it important? What are the tips, strategies that you can follow to master this section? What are the sources from where you can prepare? And we'll solve a sample question as well, continuing with the class. Okay, that's what we're going to be doing in today's session. So, before I show you and before I discuss anything with you pertaining to critical reasoning, we have All India rank 18. That's Anika Segal, one of our classroom students, one of the students, many students that we have taught. She was a part of our 1 year online classroom program. Very congratulations, Anika. You've made us really proud. Now let's talk about what exactly is critical reasoning. Wasn't the best, but still not bad. Trasik, let's wait. Let's wait for 2 more days. Day after tomorrow, the results are going to be out, hopefully. And yeah, I'm very sure it's going to be out day after tomorrow. Keep your fingers crossed. Hi, good evening, Learning Star with Adya. Okay, so Adya, good evening. Now, let's understand what exactly is critical reasoning. So, critical reasoning होता क्या है? देखो, basically, आपको एक स्टेटमेंट या एक पैराग्राफ दिया होता है और उस पैराग्राफ को सिर्फ मियरली उस स्टेटमेंट के पर्सपेक्टिव से ना देख के उसको आप कैसे इंटरप्रेट करते हो, वो किन चीजों पे डिपेंडेंट है, वो किन चीजों को लीड करता है, इस पूरे एनवायरनमेंट को समझना is critical reasoning. I'll reiterate that in English. Critical reasoning is looking at a statement or looking at a paragraph and understanding that it is dependent on a few things. A few things are dependent on that as well. Understanding the entire environment with a tinge of logic in that is going to be here we go. So that's going to be what critical reasoning is. Okay. Now let's understand how is logical reasoning different from critical reasoning. See, applying logic to numbers is more of analytical reasoning that we find in the logical reasoning section. But when we do not have numbers, yet we are supposed to apply some logic to what is given to us in the examination as a statement. Paragraph है, language में लिखा हुआ है, फिर भी आपको logic apply करना है. Thinking critical. Acha, abhi, am I audible? Guys, can you hear me? Something went wrong in between. Now is it fine? If you could quickly confirm. I think the mic is discharged, so I have moved to the. I hope now it's clearly audible. If you could quickly confirm that. Yeah, now I'm audible. ठीक है. चलो, let's continue. Okay. Here we go. So अब देखो critical reasoning क्यों important है. बहुत सारा I can पे लो ज्ञान here. But then देखो CLAT इन सब का nutshell ये है कि CLAT में critical reasoning आएगा और जरूर आएगा. और last year, I mean 2023 का critical reasoning तो बहुत आसान था. Anyone, see, I'll tell you something, my 2 cents on 2023's critical reasoning. Anyone who was okay with the basic concepts of what is an assumption, conclusion, what is an argument, what is premise, anyone who practiced a little would have sailed seamlessly through the critical reasoning section. Critical reasoning was not a very difficult section in 2023. Now, why is that important? Because you are lawyers and you need to argue and you need to present your ideas. ये सब ज्ञान, but देखो ये सब का nutshell ये है कि critical reasoning section आएगा. And जो logical reasoning section है, it is dominated by critical reasoning in CLAT. So you need to know what critical reasoning is, what are the basic fundamentals. And if there was somebody who was okay with basic terminologies, somebody who had practiced थोड़ा भी critical reasoning, आपने question solve किए थे, आपने हमारी classes attend करी थी, आप बहुत easily critical reasoning solve कर सकते थे. So इन सबका एक nutshell ये है कि critical reasoning बहुत simple है. आपको बेसिक फंडामेंटल्स पता होने चाहिए जो कि हम आज क्लास में करने वाले हैं. ठीक है. अब क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग की फंडामेंटल्स क्या हैं, इसका स्कोर हम कैसे मैक्सिमाइज कर सकते हैं, लेट्स स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट. फर्स्ट थिंग, देखो क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग के कुछ फंडामेंटल्स होते हैं जैसे अजम्पशंस है, कंक्लूजन्स है. आई एम श्योर हम बहुत सारी सेशंस लेंगे थ्रू आउट द ईयर, दिस बीइंग द फर्स्ट, एंड हमारे पास 12 मंथ्स है, बहुत सारे सेशंस लेंगे क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग पे. आपको ये भी पता होगा अजम्पशन क्या है, बट फिर भी क्योंकि आपके पास you are an early starter, you have 1 year to go. First thing first, be somebody who reads newspapers. I'll tell you why. See, ma'am, can you please show us the last year critical reasoning questions? Adya, I have one critical reasoning question by the end of the class. We're going to solve one. Okay? And all the questions that appeared were on similar methodology that this question that's there by the end of the class is going to be जो terminology वहाँ used है, जो methodology वहाँ used है, every other question followed the similar terminology is there. Okay, ma'am, what was the overall difficulty level of CLAT 2023? Anshu, देखो थोड़ा सा deviate हो जाएगा अगर हम इसकी बात करेंगे तो, but I'll talk about critical reasoning. The difficulty level was easy. English was moderate. Critical reasoning was easy. I'll reiterate, anybody who had practiced critical reasoning, you would not have fumbled anywhere. Back to it. I'll tell you why have I started talking about reading newspapers here. Guys, understand something. Newspapers, specifically the editorials, are full of arguments. Would you agree with that? And every critical reasoning question that you would see would pose an argument to you. So you need to be okay with your ability to identify arguments. What exactly is the author trying to put across? What is the claim that he's trying to make? So if you are somebody pertaining to entire CLAT paper, pertaining to entire critical reasoning section, if you are somebody who is okay with reading editorials, trust me, this entire section you would be able to get through seamlessly. Your ability to understand an editorial will help you understand arguments put across by the author, claims put across by the author, and eventually will help you understand many terminologies that are pertaining to the critical reasoning section. So first thing first, please start with reading newspapers, novels, magazines. I'll make some recommendations according to 2023's papers analysis, what you should be reading, okay? But please make sure you start reading the editorials. Of course, there are unbiased opinions, there are political affair issues, social cultural issues, and इस पे बहुत सारे questions बन सकते हैं. That's exactly why reading editorial is important for you. Opinion based है, इसलिए important है आपके लिए. पढ़ना क्या है, देखो, what I would recommend. Of course, any one of these two newspapers. But that is not all. Since I said magazines, the Telegraph.in says sample papers 2023 में there were many questions that appeared. Similarly, from editorial are some. Nagendra, if you're confused with editorials,
Let me give you a hint. Ek to one, come live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Okay? I am going to be having a session on why is reading editorial important and how you should be reading that. Tomorrow 11 a.m. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, 2 days, that is Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. I have sessions that where I take articles from editorials and we discuss how to read that article to be very comfortable with that. But then, Nagendra, I'm assuming you get confused while you read editorials because you are somebody who has started doing it recently and you're not aware of what's happening around the world. If you are somebody जिसको नहीं पता है आसपास क्या हो रहा है, you're not comfortable with the current affairs that's going around, you are ought to be confused with editorials. You just have to stick with it. The more you read, the more you'll know about what is happening around you, and the more comfortable you'll get with editorials. Just remember, Nagendra, there's no shortcut to it. There's no escaping editorials. The sooner you realize this, that I have to read it, the better it is for you. A month's hard work and you're going to fall in love with editorials. Okay, now back to it. An analysis of the sample papers plus CLAT 2023 tells us that we need to read some other sources apart from the Hindu and Indian Express. There were many articles from the Hindu in the critical reasoning section, some from the Indian Express as well. There were 2 articles from the Hindu in the critical reasoning section. There were some from the telegraph.in and some from scroll.in. You can read both these magazines. They have brilliant articles. You are going to love reading these articles. So these are a few. Hi Dhoni, good to see you here. जिया, ये तो केडी सर पढ़ाएंगे देखो, बट हाँ यहाँ मैं पढ़ा दूंगी, ठीक है. हाँ, बट पेड बैचेस मैं गोना टीच यू इंग्लिश, दैट इज समथिंग आई कैन प्रॉमिस. ठीक है, सो बैक टू इट प्लीज. दीज आर द 4 sources that I want you to read regularly. ये 4 sources note कर लो, bookmark these websites if you are sitting on your laptop or your phone. जहाँ से भी इसको सेशन को वॉच करो, इन sources से पढ़ना स्टार्ट करो. These articles are full of claims. They're going to help you understand the claim made by the author, the argument made by the author. When I started reading newspaper, I found it difficult, but now that's what, Adya. If you stick to it, and Adya, 1 more month to go, you are going to love it. Now you're okay. After a month, you're going to love reading the newspaper. Your life is going to be incomplete. You know what? I'll tell you something. We have this Telegram group for the 2023 kids who sat for CLAT last week. You know, today they were discussing about something that came up in the newspaper. CLAT is done. Why are they even bothered? I'll tell you why are they bothered. They are so used to reading newspapers that it has become a part of their lives. They sent me a screenshot, ma'am. See, this is the article where they are discussing this GK topic. Okay? So it should be a part and parcel of your life. Anshu says, ma'am, is fiction novels necessary to know? आप ये जो websites है ना, इतना भी पढ़ लोगे ना, you are good to go. Just, Anshu, remember, read from a variety of sources. Don't stick to one. Because अगर आप एक पे स्टिक करोगे तो आप एक ही तरह के टॉपिक से, एक ही तरह के राइटिंग स्टाइल से कंफर्टेबल होगे. आपको बहुत सारे वैरायटी के साथ कंफर्टेबल होना है, इसलिए बहुत सारी सोर्सेज से, अलग अलग सोर्सेज से पढ़ो. एग्जैक्टली, इकोनॉमिक टाइम से भी आते हैं. सो डोंट वरी अबाउट ये जो वन ऑफ पैसेज जो कहीं कहीं से आ जाते हैं. आई थिंक following these 4 sources are enough for you. Apart from that, if we think there's anything else that's important for you to read, we'll be sharing many important things to you through our mocks, through our editorial classes, through the PDFs. We'll be sharing enough material with you. Do not worry about that. So let's continue with the agenda of the session, but about the basics of critical reasoning. But then आपको पता है अभी कितना, it's -3 degrees here. I have heater on in front of me, the place I'm taking my classes. It's freezing cold. Without heater, I don't think I'll be able to write. So my handwriting is going to be bad today because it's freezing cold. I hope you're going to be okay with that. On that note, AIR 18, Anika Segal, we're very, very proud of her. I'm sure next year, your picture could be here. Just be regular with us. Also, we're launching our CLAT 2024 comprehensive course. It's a package. You have many live classes. You have 300 plus recorded videos available across 5 sections. You have 35 mock tests. You have monthly magazines. You have 2 book sets available. You have data content is curated by experts over the last 5 years. Do not miss out on that. You can call the counselors on this number. Otherwise, you can download our app और वहाँ counselors का number available है. Call the counselors to know more about the program. But remember, the sooner you start, the better it is for you. Okay? चलिए आगे चलते हैं. तो okay. अब देखो, let's understand some basics. Since this is our very first class on critical reasoning, there are a few topics I would want you to know before you start practicing critical reasoning. ठीक है, कुछ basic fundamentals पढ़ाती हूँ, ध्यान से समझो basic fundamentals को. They're going to help you go a long way. We're going to be referring to these basic terminologies many times over and over again. So when you start looking at a critical reasoning question, there are various fragments of a critical reasoning question. Okay, so I'm going to make a simple diagram for you that I will make many times over the course of the next 1 year. ठीक है, so I want to build a house. ठीक है, this looks like a house. Okay, I want to build a house. Now when I want to build a house, what is the first thing that I make before the house is built? The first thing that is made, what is it? The base. It's a place where we have snowfall. There's something wrong, and I'm waiting for snowfall to happen here. If it happens, I'm going to show you around. चलो बताओ, first thing क्या बनाते हो? नहीं, अच्छा, क्लासिक को पता है मैं क्या पढ़ाने वाली हूँ. सबसे पहले घर बनाते हो तो सबसे पहले फाउंडेशन बनाते हो ना, राइट? फाउंडेशन बनाते हो. So this is your foundation. ठीक है, फाउंडेशन के बाद आप वॉल्स बनाते हो. ये वॉल्स आपका प्रेमिस हो गया, इसको वॉल्स बोल लो. और ये हो गया रूफ, इसको आप कंक्लूजन बोल लो. फाउंडेशन का आप अजम्पशन बोल लो. ठीक है. Now these are three terminologies: base, foundation. Exactly, these are three terminologies which I and KD sir we will use over and over again many times throughout the next year. We will have independent sessions on assumptions and conclusions as well. But today, one thing that you need to understand is the difference not between the conclusion and assumption. We would not focus on that. We would understand what exactly is a premise, और इस premise में argument क्या है. Because ये premise or argument and the differentiation between them will help you understand many RCs better as well. So we're going to be focusing not on differentiation between conclusions and assumptions today, because we'll have independent classes on that, but we'll focus on what is a premise and what is an argument. ठीक है, तो हमने premise और argument को क्या बोला था? These are the walls that we make. ठीक है, अब walls क्या होती है देखो. For example, I write an article on how this world is coming to an end. I'll say, देखो, the countries are fighting with each other. देखो रशिया यूक्रेन में क्या हुआ, अफगानिस्तान में क्या हुआ, चाइना क्या कर रहा है ताइवान के साथ. I'll make many claims. ठीक है. Then I'll say this world is also coming to end क्योंकि देखो gas prices, oil prices कितना increase हो गया. Then I'll probably say कैसे ये कोविड वापस घूम के आ रहा है, जाता है फिर आ जाता है, जाता है फिर आ जाता है ना. Can I say the claim that I'm trying to make is the world is coming to an end? And to prove this point, to justify this point, I'm giving many examples like Russia-Ukraine war, China-Taiwan conflict, COVID coming back again, prices of oil and gas going up. Can I say all of these are examples to support one main claim that the world is coming to an end? Yes or no? Explain that to me. Would you agree with that, everyone? Would you agree that these China, Taiwan example, Russia, Ukraine example, oil and gas prices going up, and COVID coming back, all of these are examples to support one main point, that the world is coming to an end? Would you agree? Yes. So Anshu, ये जो मेरा claim था that the world is coming to an end, this claim is my argument. and the examples are my premise. So this is going to be the most important thing in my passage. Hi Rashmi. So when you read an extract for critical reasoning, you need to be able to differentiate between what is the claim and what is a premise. The biggest mistake people do is they get stuck in premise and then they get the question correct, because the question will never be dependent on the premise. Remember, examples पे कभी भी question dependent नहीं होगा. Question किस पे dependent होता है? Hi कीर्ति, question dependent होता है argument पे, author के claim पे. ये सबसे important part होता है, चाहे आप critical reasoning लो, चाहे आप RCs लो. ये सब premise जो है ये examples होते हैं, explanations होते हैं. ये सिर्फ हमको confuse करने के लिए होते हैं, हमको घुमाने के लिए होते हैं. The classes that I have every Thursday or every Friday and Saturday at 11 a.m. we discuss how to differentiate between argument and premise. Over and over again हम बहुत बार ये चीज discuss करते हैं. तो अगर आपको अभी भी problem होती है differentiate करने में between argument and premise, I would highly expect you to come live tomorrow and day after tomorrow at 11 a.m. Don't miss out on that session. ठीक है? फिर से समझाती हूँ नामरा premise का मतलब. So, but ma'am, human species are still alive. That is a counter argument, Adya, that you're giving me, right? But I, as an author, am making a claim that, see, this world will come to an end. अविनाश, बच्चे थोड़ा सा डाइसी है टॉप कॉलेजेस मिलना, ठीक है, बट बॉटम कॉलेजेस में कुछ मिल सकता है आपको, ठीक है. टॉप 5 में तो नहीं मिलेगा, दैट इज समथिंग आई एम श्योर ऑफ, बट उसके बाद आपको कोई भी कॉलेज में आपको रफली आई थिंक कटक के आसपास का, औरंगाबाद, रांची, ये कॉलेजेस मिल सकते हैं आपको अविनाश, ठीक है. नाउ बैक टू इट. सो I'll explain. Namra, I'll explain this again. By the way, Namra, you've been sending me doubts. Have I been able to convince you with the explanation? Okay, if there are counter questions, make sure you revert to me under the same thread. I'll revert to it as soon as possible. Okay, so getting back to it, Namra, premise होता है बहुत सारा ज्ञान देना, इधर उधर की बात करना, अपने क्लेम को सपोर्ट करने के लिए. मेरा क्लेम क्या था? मेरा क्लेम था ये वर्ल्ड खत्म होने वाला है, ठीक है. उसको जस्टिफाई करने के लिए मैं जो भी एक्सप्लेनेशन दूंगी ना, वो प्रेमिस का पार्ट होगा. प्रेमिस क्या होता है? मेरे घर के पिलर्स होते हैं जो सपोर्ट करते हैं मेरे इस पूरे घर को, ठीक है. ओके, कीर्ति, टॉप कॉलेजेस के लिए कितनी रैंक आनी चाहिए? ऑल इंडिया रैंक 200 के ऊपर आनी चाहिए आपके बच्चे टॉप कॉलेजेस के लिए. ओके, सो बैक टू द फंडामेंटल्स हियर. अब आया सबको समझ में? नामरा, डिड यू गेट द डिफरेंशिएशन? आद्या, वाज योर डाउट क्लियर हियर? आपने, you gave me a counter argument that humans are still alive. So if you have to weaken the argument, that's how you do it. Okay, chalo, let's continue. So when we were discussing the fundamentals, the basics of critical reasoning, remember, we need to know what's a premise, we need to know what's a conclusion, what's an assumption, what is an inference, and of course the argument. We need to know how to strengthen or weaken the argument. Like Adya weakened the argument. But for now, the most important thing is going to be this and differentiation of this between this. Every time you read an editorial, make sure you differentiate between these two. You focus on this and you skim this part. Because this part will barely have questions. Most of the questions will stem out of this. This will stem out of this. This will stem out of this. So this is going to be the most important part. If everyone still faces problems in differentiation between argument and premise, watch me live tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'm going to be discussing that in detail tomorrow. Okay? So, and about conclusion assumption, we'll have independent sessions on that as well. So, okay, that's the basic thing. Understand the difference between these, understand the basic terminologies, then please solve many questions. If you don't solve questions, if you don't read, if you don't practice, all of this is going to go in vain. आपको अभी थ्योरी समझ में आ गया, प्रेमिस क्या है, आर्ग्यूमेंट क्या है, बट अगर पढ़ के उसको अप्लाई नहीं करोगे ना, जब तक टेस्टिंग नहीं करोगे, आपको समझ में नहीं आएगा कि आप एक्चुअली उसको ग्रास्प कर पाए हो कि नहीं कर पाए हो। तो आपके लिए इनको समझना बहुत जरूरी है, ठीक है। मैम दिल्ली, चेन्नई और हैदराबाद कॉलेज में कितना नंबर पर हो जाएगा? बच्चे चेन्नई, कौन सा कॉलेज चेन्नई में? अविनाश, चेन्नई में कौन सा कॉलेज बच्चे? दिल्ली में तो कट ऑफ आ चुकी है, ठीक है। तो दिल्ली का तो रिजल्ट आ चुका है जो क्लैट के थ्रू नहीं लिया है। हाँ, क्लैट के थ्रू हैदराबाद में हो जाएगा सिलेक्शन, बट चेन्नई में कौन सा कॉलेज है बच्चे? I will you teach assumptions also? Yes, Rashmi, I will. Okay, guys, देखो कुछ चीजें याद रखना, हम सेशंस लेंगे. You need to subscribe to the channel so that you know. Hi Tanya. So that you know ये सेशंस कब हो रहे हैं, ठीक है. So subscribe to the channel. Do not leave the class without subscribing so that आपको पता लगेगा ये क्लासेस कब हो रही है. 2, कुछ समझ में आ रहा है तो लाइक कर दो यार. सेशन 17 पीपल लाइव हैं, 12 लाइक्स हैं. समझ में आ रहा है तो मुझे भी थोड़ा हैप्पी कर दो, लाइक कर दो, कमेंट कर देना वीडियो के नीचे कि मैम ब्रिलियंट सेशन, आई हैव नेवर सीन अ सेशन लाइक दिस एवर. ऐसा अच्छा अच्छा लिख देना, मुझे भी अच्छा लगेगा पढ़ के, ठीक है. तो प्रैक्टिस करो प्लीज. Download the app. There are many sectional tests, there are many topic tests, there are many full length mocks that are going to come up. Take them, solve them so that you know where do you stand in critical reasoning. Always understand anything that you read logically. Remember, अब हम CLAT का पेपर दे रहे हैं, हमें मेरली कोई भी चीज को बिना लॉजिक की नहीं पढ़ना है. घर में भी कोई आर्ग्यूमेंट हो रहा है तो लॉजिक ढूंढो उसके अंदर. जहां सब चीज में लॉजिक ढूंढने लगोगे, जी हाँ, डाउनलोड आवर ऐप. आवर ऐप इज मेनी क्वेश्चंस, ठीक है. और थैंक यू तानिया. और ऐप में क्वेश्चन है, प्लस आप क्लैट का पेपर डाउनलोड कर लो 2023 का, वहां से सॉल्व करो. इनफैक्ट क्लैट का पूरा पेपर दो एक बार, सो दैट यू नो एग्जैक्टली आया क्या था क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग में, मुझे किस चीज के लिए प्रिपेयर करना है, ये पता लगेगा आपको, ठीक है. थैंक यू आद्या. तो सब चीजों में, आइडियाज में, रिटन पैराग्राफ्स में देखो लॉजिकल कनेक्शन क्या है, सब चीज को लॉजिकली अप्लाई करो. यू नो क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग पढ़ाते पढ़ाते मेरा हालत इतना खराब हो गया है दैट इवन इफ आई आर्ग्यू विद माय हस्बैंड आई से ओके लॉजिकल आर्ग्यूमेंट होना चाहिए, इलॉजिकल आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं एक्सेप्टेबल होगा. आपका भी यही हालत होना चाहिए, ठीक है. हमेशा हर आर्ग्यूमेंट को इवैल्यूएट करो, इवैल्यूएट करोगे तो वो आपको लॉजिकल रीजनिंग में हेल्प करेगा, लीगल रीजनिंग में हेल्प करेगा, इंग्लिश में हेल्प करेगा, सब जगह हेल्प करेगा. ऑलवेज सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम्स सिस्टमैटिकली. Now sources, important sources, you can take mock tests from our app, you can take sectional tests from our app, in fact 23 as well. You can take all the previous papers that are available, these papers are available on our app. तो डाउनलोड नहीं किया आप तभी भी डाउनलोड कर लो. एलेट के भी 2023 का पेपर हमारे ऐप में अवेलेबल है. एलसैट पेपर सॉल्व कर सकते हो, जीमैट ऑफिशियल गाइड सॉल्व कर सकते हो, लेकिन प्लीज अगर आप एक एमेच्योर हैं, अगर आपने अभी अभी स्टार्ट किया है क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग, प्लीज ये दोनों चीजें अभी स्टार्ट मत करना. These are very good sources for critical reasoning, but ये एक एमेच्योर के लिए, एक नोविस के लिए नहीं है. ये आपको सॉल्व करनी है आफ्टर 6 months, जब आपको बेसिक फंडामेंटल्स क्लियर हो गए हैं, आपने ये सारे पेपर सॉल्व कर लिए हैं, ठीक है. सो जस्ट कीप अ ट्रैक. आप किसी भी अपने सीनियर से ये बुक्स ले सकते हो, किसी सेकंड हैंड बुक स्टोर में जाके ये बुक्स परचेज कर लो, ये आपको बहुत काम आएंगे क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग में. लेकिन याद रखना, अभी कर लोगे यू विल हेट मी, यू विल हेट क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, है ना. अच्छा, चाणक्य लॉ कॉलेज पटना, बच्चा आराम से मिल जाएगा कट ऑफ. तुम्हारे कितने मार्क्स आ रहे हैं? 60 भी ले आओगे, 50 भी ले आओगे तो मिल जाएगा चाणक्य लॉ कॉलेज, जरूर मत, मिल जाएगा, ठीक है. ओके, ये सोर्सेस है, बट डर जाओगे इनको सॉल्व करोगे तो अभी नहीं करना, क्लासेस अटेंड करो. चलिए एक सैंपल क्वेश्चन देती हूँ आद्या. हियर इट इज. दिस इज अ 2020 पेपर्स क्वेश्चन, बट ऐसे ही क्वेश्चंस आए थे 2022 में भी, 2023 में भी. सॉल्व करो, मुझे आंसर बताओ इसका. ये है ए, बी, सी और डी ऑप्शंस. बताओ मुझे असम्पशन कौन सा है, यहाँ देखते हैं किस किस का होता है. या यू राइट जिया, इजीली मिल जाएगा उस रैंक में. अच्छा, बाय द वे अविनाश, अगर आपको ना अभी एवरीवन जिन्होंने 23 क्लैट दिया था, अगर आपको अभी भी कंफ्यूजन है ना, 2 दिन में क्लैट का रिजल्ट आ जाएगा। कितने रैंक पे क्या एनएलयू मिल रहा है, इसकी एक सेशन होने वाली है, मेक श्योर यू वॉच दैट, तो आपको पता लग जाएगा कि आपके रैंक में क्या कॉलेज मिलने वाला है आपको। ठीक है, चलो इसको सॉल्व कर लो। अच्छा, कीर्ति सेज ए। भाई दिस हीटर इज ऑल्सो नॉट हेल्पिंग, आज -3 is deadly today. आंसर बताइए। बी, डी, सी, सारे ए बी सी डी चारों ऑप्शन आ गए, बट सिर्फ एक बच्चा है जो सही है, एंड दैट इज रश्मि शर्मा। द करेक्ट आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन इज अ सी। ठीक है, बट बिफोर यू गेट वरीड कि मुझे तो आता ही नहीं है कुछ भी, बिफोर यू अंडर थिंक कि ये कैसे हो गया, एक बात याद रखना, दिस इज merely a sample question for you from one of the previous year papers. ये बच्चे 1-1 साल की तैयारी के बाद देते हैं। आपने अभी स्टार्ट करिए, आपके पास 1 लॉन्ग ईयर टू गो है, आपको शायद ये भी नहीं पता है कि assumptions होता क्या है ना? So if you marked it incorrectly, do not worry. It's merely to showcase the kind of questions that appear in the examination, so that you have an idea. बस ये दिखाने के लिए है ये कि इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं और ये डुएबल है। वेरी गुड अब्दुल, वेरी गुड शिवाजी। ठीक है, तो आंसर इसका सी था। अब याद रखना, सैंपल है क्वेश्चन, ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं असम्पशंस पे, कंक्लूजन्स पे, स्ट्रेंथनिंग पे, वीकनिंग पे, बहुत सारे सेशंस होंगे, मल्टीपल, यू हैव टू बी रेगुलर विद देम। ठीक है, ये याद रखना। यहाँ करेक्ट आंसर हमारा सी था। कैसे हुआ, assumptions डिस्कस करेंगे तब बताऊंगी। अभी for now we've launched a comprehensive course for CLAT 2024. Multiple classes, multiple mocks, multiple recorded sessions, multiple PDFs available. Call a counselor on this number. Enroll yourself as soon as possible so that you aren't late. जितना जल्दी करोगे उतना बेनिफिशियल होगा आपके लिए। Remember that. You can download our app. वहाँ पे भी आप कॉल कर सकते हो काउंसलर्स को. Our number is available on our app as well. Now, that was all. But remember, today's session majorly focused on differentiating between arguments and premise. I'll be discussing more about that in detail क्योंकि वो आपको legal reasoning English में भी help करेगा in tomorrow's session at 11 AM. 24 शिवाजी, 23 का क्लैट हो चुका है। अच्छा, अगर किसी को भी ये भी डाउट है, नागेंद्र स्लो 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 स्लो, डू नॉट रीड फास्ट नाउ, गो स्लो। ठीक है, इन मे, Sujata, is going to happen in May. There are a couple of things that I want to clear out here. If you are somebody who is targeting the CLAT that's going to happen in December 2023, it's called CLAT 2024. ठीक है, because ये आपको 2024 में एडमिशन देगा। I hope this is clear to everyone. CLAT 23 हो चुका है दिसंबर 2022 में, वो 2023 में एडमिशन देगा। MHCT SLAT 2023 में ही होंगे। ठीक है, बैक टू इट, नागेंद्र's question. If you are a beginner, please read slow. Understand the difference between an argument and a conclusion and a premise. Okay? Once you grasp that, that's when you can start reading faster. We'll teach you many, many techniques. मैम बायो सेट 12th किए हैं, अच्छा बायो से 12th किए हैं, तो कौन BA LLB, BSc LLB या BCom सही रहेगा? बच्चे BA LLB कर लो। मैं आपको बताती हूँ क्यों अविनाश। मेजर डिग्री क्या होने वाली है तुम्हारी? LLB होने वाली है ना? It's going to happen tomorrow, Shivaji. Don't miss out on that. LLB होने वाली है ना मेजर डिग्री. काउंट क्या होगी? LLB के मार्क्स मेजरली काउंट होंगे. क्यों BSc लेके अपना टाइम वहां इतना लगाओगे? BSc के लिए भी इतनी पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी. Take a simpler degree. We don't have to put much time so that you have much time left for your LLB degree. That's my suggestion. Okay? Rest, you are a better judge. Do not leave the session without liking the session, everyone. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, YouTube, and download our app on Google Play as well. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you had a fun learning time with me. See you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Good night, everyone. Kirti, you have to look at the schedule that we keep uploading every day on our YouTube channel.